this is kind of embarrassing.
I thought it was about time to bring back my channel. I got a tripod, so that's something.
Yeah. So, I know I made a video almost a year ago saying I was back on YouTube and to look forward to a bunch of videos. Did we do that though? No, I don't think we did. Yeah. So let me tell you what happened. 2024, let's just call it a fluke. There was a lot of things I wanted to read, and I actually did not end up reading them. I read 27 books in 2024, I think, and it was a rough reading year. Let's just say that. So, what happened? I don't know what was going on at the beginning of the year. That time is sort of like a blur to me. What I do know is over the summer I got a Steam Deck, and I was living with my boyfriend for the summer, and I was planning on doing a lot of videos at his place. I even brought my tripod. But let's just say when I got my Steam Deck, I did not do any reading that summer. Yeah, so I really wanted to read, but every time I thought about reading, I was like, oh, but my game though. I could be playing my game. So, did not do reading over the summer. Then the fall semester, whew. Okay, speed run. Fall semester, I had my practicum, which I went into an 8th grade classroom, and I was helping teach English. And then I was also writing my senior thesis. Um, then I got mono. That that was not fun. I barely had any energy to do basically anything. I was sleeping most of the day, and I could not focus on anything. It made me slip behind on some schoolwork, but we're back. We're better than ever. So, I'm hopeful for this year of reading, and I am hopeful for this year of booktube. I'm not going to say I'm gonna make a bunch of videos because I really don't know. I'm gonna be transparent, I really do not know what 2025 has in store for me yet. You know, I read 11 books in January, and I was very excited about that. So, today I wanted to just talk about how my reading this year has gone so far, and also, you know, some of the stuff that I've been up to. This is basically like a recap of January in reading and where we're going from here. I do want to start off by saying that in December, I read and finished The Hobbit. I finished The Hobbit on December 31st, and it was a 5-star read. I loved it so much. I honestly, I tell everyone this. I thought I would not like Tolkien because in high school we read his version of Beowulf, like a section of it, and he spent so long describing like one aspect of the scenery, and I was just like, no, this isn't for me. And so I didn't think that I would enjoy his writing, but genuinely The Hobbit is one of my favorite books at this point. Something to note is that a lot of these books that I read in January are from my library, or they were books that I borrowed from somebody. These are going over just my 5-star reads, by the way. The first one is Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop, and that was a 5-star read. So, Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop is telling the story about a woman who gets a divorce, and she just wants to start a new life. So she goes to this small town-ish area and opens a bookshop, and it's basically like a slice of life book, and I just really enjoyed that. And so that started my love for translated fiction. And the second book that I rated 5 stars in 2025 is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Before the Coffee Gets Cold was truly a tearjerker for me, and I just loved it so much. It's split into 4 individual stories, so it's not like you're reading like a whole narrative. I guess it goes over a period of time. So it's chronological, but it follows 4 different people and the reason why they want to go to this cafe. The next one, I put this out of order. I think the next one I rated 5 stars was The Giver of Stars, which that was loaned to me by my boyfriend's mom, and she was like, I loved this and I think that you'd enjoy it. And I absolutely loved it. Uh gosh, who is the narrator for the audiobook? I can't remember her name. She's a really well-known audiobook narrator, and I listened to that while I was reading the book. And I think that's the way you should read Giver of Stars, because Giver of Stars follows a the it's a historical novel about the traveling library thing program that Roosevelt gosh, what is her name? Can't remember her name right now. Just out of my brain. She had started this program where there's a traveling library for less privileged areas so that more people were able to read books. And this talks about racism and the harshness of the society that they lived in, because there's a lot of men in the society who don't think women should read. There's a few women who are like, women shouldn't read, and they just think it's a stupid program. But you have this group of people who come together and they're determined to take these books all over the county, and they're doing it on horseback, and you can see a lot of the challenges that they experience with weather related issues. So next, I think this is the only physical copy that I have, and it's from the library, but it's Purple Hibiscus. Purple Hibiscus we read for African Women's Writing. She prefaced it with there were dark topics. There were topics of abuse, you know. It just was difficult subject matter because this follows this family in Nigeria. They are like an elitist family. I don't want to say elitist. Um, the father, Eugene, is very well known because he runs his own factory and he also runs the most respected newspaper in his area. And everyone thinks that he's this high class man and he's a great father, but the reality is that he is very abusive to his family. And so this follows his daughter's perspective, and she is, she's younger, she doesn't really understand the complexity of things. And so seeing things through her eyes, you're confused on a few things because you're like, that, it feels like there's a few things missing. But because she's younger, people aren't telling her things. People are like hiding things from her because they think that she can't handle it. So truly, it's like she's an unreliable narrator, but unreliable in the sense of she's being shielded, and things progress and you can see how like the story falls off. I think that that might be my favorite book that we read for a class. It does tie with We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which I read last year for women's writing, and I loved that. I thought that was going to be my favorite book that we read for my English degree, but I really loved Purple Hibiscus. So, lastly, I'm not gonna get it out. It is in my cabinet. It is Onyx Storm. Onyx Storm, what to say? I think my Goodreads review says it all. Yeah. So, Onyx Storm, this is the third book in the Fourth Wing series, by Rebecca Yarros. I enjoyed it. I think it is a great read. But that being said, I think that. Okay, so let me preface this. I loved Iron Flame. Iron Flame is my favorite. This does not top Iron Flame for me. So, Iron Flame, my favorite. Then I would say Onyx Storm is my second favorite. Yes, I do think that it is above Fourth Wing. Anyways, now I'm gonna talk about where we're going from here, because that was all of my 5-star reads thus far. And now that I'm thinking about it, that is a short list considering the fact that I have read 14 books so far. I mean, I guess a lot of them are, children's graphic novels, so I'm like not fully invested in them. I'm just reading them to be reading them. I've been reading a lot of the Babysitter's Club graphic novels, and that has been taking up my time. So, from here, there are a few books that I want to read. I am going to show you what I'm currently reading. So, during the daytime, I am reading Strange Pictures. This is a translated book that has strange pictures, wouldn't you know? So there's like a collection of drawings, and these are all drawings that people have done in the story. They're like background characters, and it's not related to them. We don't care about them. So, no, we do care about them. But we're looking at why these people drew those pictures, and there's like this creepy element to it. And it reminds me of those videos I watched as a kid where it's like top 10 scariest drawings from children. And I would eat those videos up, but I feel like my sensitivity to that sort of stuff has gone up, so I have not been reading it at night because I am a wuss. So at nighttime, starting last night, I started Beg, Borrow, or Steal. I'm only 13 pages in, so don't ask me how I like it right now. I don't know. But Beg, Borrow, or Steal follows these two second grade teachers, and they are rivals, and they're neighbors, and they're also secretly writers, which is a crazy combination, if I do say so myself. It feels like, how can you have that much in common but still be arch nemesis? You know what I mean. I just don't know how we got to this point. So I'm interested to see how we got to the point where they do not like each other. Because make it make sense. I do not understand why you two dislike each other. But I encourage you to look up some of the plots of these books because I feel like this last one was an oversimplification of the plot. but I just want to give you the general gist of what's going on. So the next book that I'm reading for African women's writing is the Book of Memory, and I'm gonna be real with you. I have not read a single page yet. I'm supposed to have it, I think, chapter 1 read by tomorrow, and I do not know what this book is about. I'm probably just gonna go into it blind, to be honest. So I would encourage you to look into it if you're interested. But yeah, that's the book we're going to be reading next. Then my boyfriend's coworker wanted to like give me a book. So I traded a book with her. I gave her Starling House because I know she likes eerie books, and I feel like that's an eerie book, if you know what I'm saying. And she gave me this YA. I think it's a YA book. It's called A Mango Shaped Space. And this is about a kid who has synesthesia, and you know, it's referred to as a gift, but there isn't really much information on the back that gives me any more information about this book. So I'm interested to see where this goes. She said that she loved this book, and the font is pretty big, so I think that I'll get through this pretty fast, and I'm looking forward to it. Lastly, I wanted to mention these two books that I'm gonna get into. My boyfriend's mom came over to visit us on our anniversary. Well, his whole family did, basically. And I gave her back The Giver of Stars. And I was like, I loved it. And then she was like, great. Because guess what? I got 2 more books for you. I cannot believe that I finished that book, and it's like her telepathy was like, she needs more books to read. So she said these 2 are also historical fiction novels. Apparently she is in her historical fiction era, and I love that for her. So at some point, these are the books that I'm going to be reading. I don't know if I'll get to them in February. Fingers crossed I get to them in February, because I want to get through them and be able to talk to her about them. But I don't really remember what these are about. So this one is The Medicine Woman. It's in Texas, and it's a woman doctor, and she is traveling, doing medicine, you know. Yeah. So then we have Between Earth and Sky, and it says, it's set in the tragic intersection between white and Native American culture. A young girl learns about friendship, betrayal, and the sacrifices made in the name of belonging. So, this is talking about a federal agent is dead, and the murder suspect is the main character's childhood friend. And she's like, what? He was like the most upstanding kid there was. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, where am I going with this? I'm very hopeful for this year in reading. I want to be making videos. Maybe I will make a video essay about the topic I wrote my thesis on. Maybe I will make a video on bullet journaling, because I've been bullet journaling and my bullet journal is getting thick. And maybe I will make videos where I am just straight up coloring Calico Critters coloring sheets. Because you know what? Why not? So, yeah, this is just a recap of everything that's been going on in my life and everything I've read and hopefully will read. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love it if you like, if you subscribe, and comment what your favorite book of 2025 has been thus far. Thank you.